Welcome to part 4. So far, we've learned that ser is identity and estar is more emotion and condition. Now, I'd like to add some secondary uses of ser and estar. What we have here is really the pillars of each verb, what's most important that you understand about them. But Spanish grammar also uses ser and estar for more incidental secondary uses too. So the first one I'd like to add to ser is this idea of time, days, and dates. For example, saying it is 2 o'clock, it is Thursday, it is the 12th of April. These would all take ser. It's just a fact of Spanish grammar that when you're referring to time, days, or dates, you go with ser. So this gives us identity and now time and dates. Another secondary use of ser is with just a general usage of it is. For example, it's possible, it's fantastic, it's good, it's bad, it's probable, it's impossible. All of these are just a general usage of it is. And Spanish grammar uses ser for that. So it would be like es posible, es fantástico, es bueno, es malo, and so forth. It's just a fact of Spanish grammar that it does that. So now, looking at ser, try to recall, pause the video and recall the uses of ser, and then I'll give them to you in a second. So we have ser equaling identity. That's its core function, its core use. And then we have secondary things such as time, days, and dates, and just a general usage of it is. Turning our attention to estar, we already know that we have emotion and condition. Again, these are the pillars of estar. But to that list, we can also add some secondary things that Spanish grammar uses estar for. And one of those things is location. So it's the location of, say, I'm here, it's there, the hospital is far away, the bathroom is to the right. So we would have, using estar in all these places, anything to talking about location, Spanish grammar is going to take estar. There is one exception, but I won't mention that now, we'll save that for later. 99.99% of the time, anytime you're referring to where you are or someone else is, or where any inanimate object is, a car, a building, whatever, you're going to be using estar. So we have this secondary use of estar now with location. And there's one more secondary use that we will add also to estar, which is what's your status? What I mean by that is I'm married, I'm divorced, I'm dead, I'm alive, I'm single, engaged, separated, retired, even injured. If you think about it, these are all kind of representing your status. On a lot of forms in English, we have marital status, asking you what is your marital status. And say in wartime or in a hospital, you could say, well, what's the status of the patient? Is it dead or alive? Then these other things also relate to relationships, single, engaged, separated, and you can also have your status as retired, no longer active, or even your status saying, say on a football field, your status is currently injured, that you can't play. For some reason, Spanish grammar chooses to use estar with these types of things which talk about your status. Let's take a look at this all on one slide now. This slide is very important. We have ser, And the pillar of ser, the main thing to understand and get from it is identity. It can be a person's identity, or it can be the identity of inanimate objects. So that's its core, the sense of permanence and strength. But to that, we also add smaller secondary uses. So whenever you're talking about time, days, and dates, you're going to use ser. And whenever it's just a general usage of it is, it's going to be ser. With a star, we have the pillars of a star here. This is the heart of a star, talking about emotion and talking about the condition of things. A star is more transitory in nature, but it also has secondary uses. So when you're talking about location, either the location of a person, yourself, or inanimate objects, it's going to take a star. And then we also have a star for status. So what's your marital status? Single, divorced, married, separated? What's the status of the patient, dead or alive? What's the status of the football player, injured? Or even your status in no longer working, now your status is that you're retired. All of this Spanish grammar allocates to the verb estar. The thing to be concerned about getting or understanding is what I've highlighted here in red. So we still have these pillars of identity with ser and emotion and condition with estar. But in order to complete the picture, it's also very important to know that Spanish grammar assigns ser and estar also for secondary uses. And here we have examples of those. This pretty much gives you a complete picture of how to use ser and estar. All that's missing now is just this practical application so that you can really practice it in real life sentences and situations.